My brother called me at 2 a.m. in tears, asking if I'd raise his 2-year-old. Now I'm scared. Dads, how do I help him right now? Last week my older brother rang in the middle of the night. He was crying, like really crying, and asked me to promise I'd look after his little girl if anything ever happened to him. He's always been steady. He sailed through their first kid's newborn chaos. But since the second came along, she's 2 now, something's changed. He spends evenings alone in the driveway, just sitting in the car with the engine off. He moved into the spare room, so I don't keep my wife up, but it feels more like retreat than courtesy. During the day he texts, all good, without any unusual signs. I'm scared this is more than normal dad stress. He won't bring it up with his wife, and I don't want to bulldoze him, but I also don't want to wait for another 2 a.m. call. For parents, or anyone who's been the worried sibling, what actually helped you when the fear and isolation took over? How do I start the conversation about therapy or support without making him shut down? Any ideas welcome. I just want my brother present and okay for his kids. Plan is simple. Over breakfast, I'm going to ask him straight up. Are you thinking about killing yourself? If the answer is even close to a yes, we'll call 988 or go to a doctor together. Then I'll drag him outside the house to do something he used to love. Maybe golf, maybe steakhouse or a bad action movie. Just to let his brain breathe and create rooms for him to open up. At some point, I'll loop his wife in gently so she's not in the dark. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. PPD is also a thing for dads. Oop. PPD was my first thought too. Problem is, in his town, dads don't get depressed. So reaching out looks like weakness. Resources are basically nil. Super frustrating. If anyone knows legit dad-friendly help, please drop it. Commenter 2. If my brother called me at 2 a.m. like this, I'd be asking my wife to watch my daughter for a couple days and booking a flight out to visit. I'd probably take him out for drinks and beat the explanation of how he was feeling out him. If I felt pretty confident that he wasn't actually as critically unstable as he seemed in the 2 a.m. call, I might put the trip off for a few days. If he wanted, I'd make some excuse about having business in the area, but I wouldn't avoid the visit. The dude needs someone to talk to if he's breaking down like this at 2 a.m. Could be anything from financial stress to just plain old chemical depression. Oop. Thanks for the reality check, you're right. I can't just chalk that call up to stress. He's always been the family rock, so seeing him crack like that was a gut punch. I'm lining up a visit ASAP, no big agenda, just showing up and letting him talk. Oop, on knowing if her brother drinks or not to cope with his depression. Oop. It never occurred to me he could be drinking on the side. I'm his sister, so getting a guy's perspective on how men sometimes hide this stuff is really helpful. I'm flying out this weekend, so he's not alone with the spiral. Really appreciate the advice. Do you think he will be honest with me if I ask him about the drinking issue? Commenter 3. Is the second kid his? I'd wonder if he found something out that made him separate from his wife intentionally since the birth. Oop. I did not think of that. He did ask me to take care of his little one, second kid. My assumption is unlikely, but there's definitely some issue with their relationship. Commenter 4. Lurking mom here. As someone who has had very severe depression with suicidal ideation and put plans in place, this is worthy of a 5-alarm siren. Your brother needs your help now. I cannot tell you how bad it had to be for me to reach out for help. I am always outwardly steady and very good at hiding my depression. You need to, as someone else said, beat the explanation of how he is feeling out of him. Do not allow yourself to be shrugged off and do not let him act like it's not a big deal or you are overreacting. Oop. Big props to you for speaking up. Your honesty is the wake-up call I needed. Thank you. Oop should help look into getting therapy for her brother. Oop. He's pretty therapy shy, so I'm looking for softer on-ramps. Maybe a standing coffee walk with a dad buddy, or maybe there's an app with check-in like, not okay? Anything that feels like hanging out rather than sitting on a couch in the therapist's office. If you've got other low-key ideas, I'm all ears. Oop needs to follow her gut feelings from that 2 a.m. phone call, likely the call for help. Oop. My inner voice was telling me that this is not the typical thing. Thank you for the validation. I'm booking the ticket now. Edit number 1. I read every single comment. Thank you. The message is loud and clear. That 2 a.m. call was a SOS, not dad stress. I'm flying out. Tonight. Waiting for the weekend felt... Update number 1. May 22nd, 2025. 3 days later. My brother called me at 2 a.m. If I don't make it, promise you'll raise my kids. So I flew across the country. Now I'm on his couch. And here's what I just learned. Last night we wound up on his back porch around midnight. Baby monitor humming between us. It was quiet for a long stretch. Then he started talking, and the words poured out. Pretty soon we were both wiping our eyes. He's embarrassed I flew across the country to babysit him, but even more scared about what would happen to his kids if he ever hit the point of no return. His business is buried in debt, and a few clients still haven't paid, so every bill feels like a gut punch. Home is tense too. He took clients to a strip club on a work trip, told his wife right away so there were no secrets. Tried to be close later and she pulled back. He says that felt like the biggest humiliation of his life, and now he freezes whenever things might turn intimate. Back in February, he went to his PCP because he couldn't sleep. The doctor ran a quick screen, called it severe depression, and put him on meds. He didn't tell anyone because talking to a stranger won't fix it, and he figured he could muscle through. Meanwhile, he feels responsible for his wife, the kids, our parents, even me. At one point he said, I can't breathe. The only thing that yanks him out of dark thoughts is his toddler's face in the morning. I pulled out my phone and showed him this Reddit thread. thousands of strangers pacing over his 2 a.m. call. He shakes his head and laughs. I felt bad stressing you out. Now the whole internet's sweating over me. A bit of the weight slid off right there. Then I reminded him how many times I drafted him as my bodyguard while growing up, chasing off boys I didn't like and listening to me cry when the ones I liked didn't like me back. We cracked up at how he's been my unofficial relationship therapist forever, while insisting he's bad at feelings. That laugh felt good, but one porch talk isn't a cure. So here's my ask. Therapy-averse dads or moms who finally went, what flipped the switch for you? Depression survivors, what was the very first step that gave you air? 2 a.m. panic veterans when you couldn't call anyone, what kept you from tipping over? Short answers, long stories, whatever helps. This sub already got me on a plane. Maybe you'll get him to real daylight. Commenter 1. Not directly what you asked about, but if he has clients that aren't paying, assuming he's a contractor or freelancer, and he has some documentation, he can absolutely take them to small claims court over it. I have an acquaintance who did this. He was getting stiffed by two clients, a small business and another mid-sized local business, and he sent them notice they were late and that he'd be taking them to court in 7 days. One paid up immediately on the threat, the other didn't. He represented himself in small claims court. The judge found in his favor. End of story. Obviously, this might feel like an extra thing to take on, and he'd need to do some research, but it could help relieve some financial stress. Small claims court is underrated. You can even sue large companies there in some cases. Oop, this is helpful. Thank you. I'll pass this along to my brother. Commenter 2. I was therapy adverse. I realized that I don't go for me, I go for my kid. I want to be better and have a better grasp on issues so I can model it for my kids. I want a healthy relationship with boundaries, self-image, money, etc. Because my folks didn't, and I see all that in me. I want to stamp it out at me. It ends with my generation. Tell your brother if his toddler's face is the only thing that pulls him out of the dark. Make it so that the dark disappears as much as it can, and the burden isn't on his kid. It's not his kid's job to get him through. It's his job. Talking is helpful. Have him talk to his wife more about what happened, and how he feels about how she treated him. Oop. It's not his kid's job to get him through, it's his job. I think that will speak to him, thank you. Commenter 3. Dad, physician and therapist activist. I know it may feel like talking to a stranger. Because that's what it is. In the beginning. A few things to understand. You have to find the right person for you. I realized that I would prefer a male after seeing 2 women because they'd relate better to me. Then I realized I'd prefer a younger male over an older male, then a colored male over a white male. Eventually, it just clicked, and it becomes a feeling of, wow, this person gets me. Then this person gets to know you and can allow you to view these issues in a different light, ask you questions that maybe you haven't thought about and, most importantly, give the tools to help process and heal the thoughts you may have. You are making really good progress. I commend your commitment and love for your brother. I wish more of my patients had that support system. Continue what you're doing, continue showing up, and continue recommending he find the right therapist for him. Healing your mental health takes work. It's not an easy fix, and it takes time. Oop. Appreciate the reminder that finding a therapist is a bit like dating. You keep looking until the fit feels right. Update number 2. May 26th, 2025. 4 days later. Hey, it's the sister with the 2 a.m. call, back because something wild happened. Quick recap for anyone just dropping in. A few days ago at 2 a.m., my phone lit up. My brother asked if I could take care of his kids if something bad happened. The words sounded practical. The hour felt like a silent goodbye. I came here and told you everything. You answered. Hundreds of you. Last night, we read all 700+ replies together. Each line felt like someone farther up the trail flashing a light back toward us. He set the phone down, shook his head and said, he asked me to pass along what landed, his lines and my narration around them. 1. How did we all miss the sirens? Thread after thread told the same gut punch story. Brothers cracking jokes at dinner, FaceTiming good nights, and then gone. Some waved flags, goodbye texts, sudden giveaways. Others wore flawless masks, meds skipped, plans cancelled, eyes smiling but empty. His takeaway. Stop betting on, maybe tomorrow. Ask the blunt question, knock anyway. Fire off the midnight check-in. Mine. Show up first, hope later. Drag them to the doctor today, not when the calendar clears. One knock at the right moment can keep a life from swinging shut. 2. Therapy. Jack, not tow truck. He dodged therapy for years. Real men fix flats alone. Then, one analogy finally landed. His takeaway. If you won't grab a tool for yourself, grab it so your kids don't grow up thinking silence is strength. Mine. Therapy isn't a rescue crew. It lifts the frame so you can work. If the first jack slips, swap it and keep going. 3. Depression never really moves out. We finally admitted it. Depression doesn't pack its bags. Most of us just learn to walk with the limp while acting like everything's fine. Relief looks different for everyone. Weights, riffs, sketchbooks, meds, CBT drills. But even the best routine collapses when you're alone and the limp turns to sludge. Action beats rumination. Ping a friend, walk a block, book the labs. Anything. His takeaway. Depression wins if I freeze alone. Any motion with people. Lifting, riffing, walking, talking, pumps oxygen back into the day. Mine. Normalize the limp. Keep nudging toward motion. And never let anyone walk that limp alone. 4. The 2 a.m. kill zone. That's when the brain rips off its daytime mask and insists the only exit is to stop breathing. Two refrains echo, "I wish he'd called," and "I had no one to dial." We're never true islands. Even a lone rock has fish swirling underneath, so reach out when you can't pull yourself back. His takeaway: when tunnel vision hits, a live voice is the crowbar that pries the door back open. Mine. Build fail-safes before the kill zone. Keep numbers pinned, plans primed, and remember, if you can't calm your own storm, send a signal. Someone's awake and willing to steer you till morning. Why I'm writing and staying. I'm typing parts of this in tears because the reality of almost losing my brother finally sank in. Humanity is rare on the internet, but this thread flooded us with it. If these words keep even one more family from that edge, sharing them is a must. No one should die of lonely suffering. Even a lone island isn't truly alone. Life teems beneath the surface. Let's prove that to anyone who feels stranded. What we still need, add your piece. I'm still wiping tears because if I hadn't acted on what the dads and moms here shared, I might be planning my brother's funeral right now. Your advice saved him, so I'm leaning in again. If you're still in the thick of it, what's weighing on you right now? Money panic? Med roulette? Zero support circle? Name it so we can all see it. If you've made it to steadier ground, what do you wish you'd done sooner, or wish existed when things were darkest? What's actually helped you fight back? A habit, a line, a resource. Share the thing that really moved the needle. Everything you offer will go into a living guide we can all lean on. One late-night thread kept my brother here. Together we can keep the next family whole.
Relevant top comments. Commenter 1. This is why we are here. Y'all made my day just now. Hope. I'm really grateful to come across with all the amazing dads and moms here. Commenter 2. Thank you for taking the time to write this. The reference discussion was something I missed, but I'm glad I clicked on this one. There's one huge thing that keeps me coming back to this subreddit. To remind myself that I'm not alone when I struggle. Not ever. Hope, I'm so glad you found this one, and thank you for saying that. That exact feeling. I'm not alone is what kept me holding it together while writing and reading through Tear. Commenter 3. This is outstanding progress. I'm proud of you both. He has to fix his business. For small business owners, mental health and the business performance are impossible to separate. He can't do it alone. Just like therapy, he needs to bring in someone that can shine a light where it needs to be. That's not weakness. That's just being smart and using someone else's skill set. He can do this. Hope. Yes, the business still needs to be figured out, but he can't do it unless he's mentally stable. So one step at a time. Thank you for the support.